This PSD.
Hi, welcome to Easy Photoshop Tutorials. I'm Mr. PSDfile, and today we're going to be making a Web 2.0 button. You know, those cool new age looking buttons that you see on websites now. Alright, so go ahead and open up your Photoshop and go ahead and hit File, New, and make sure your presets to Web, just so we can have a smaller canvas to work with. It's only a button, you know. Yeah. Alright, so let's go to Edit, Fill, and we're just going to use black or 50% gray, just so we can see what effects are actually going on. It makes it look a little bit better. Alright, hit OK. Alright, now from here what we're going to do is go ahead and set our foreground color. We're going to leave it here. And you can leave the colors a little bit darker, but you want your foreground probably a little bit lighter than your background. And we're going to leave our background color the same right here. Hit OK. Alright, now go ahead and select your rounded rectangle tool right here. And make sure that this thing is selected, which is Fill Pixel, because I was sitting here trying to get this tutorial going and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't do anything to it, and that's because I had this one selected. Alright, now make sure that's selected. Go ahead and create a new layer, and from here what you're going to do is draw out your button. Also, if you want more of a rounded edge like so, you can amp up your radius to whichever you feel is the right one. Alright, now from here what we're going to do is go to our gradient tool and go to this little drop down box and select foreground to background. Alright, and we're going to go in here and make our gradient. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Oh yeah, I left out a step. Go over to your layer and hold down Command or Control and click it, and it's gonna select the layer like so. And now you can do your good gradient thing going on here. Make sure you hold down Shift when you're holding the gradient, or else it's gonna go diagonal. Let go. Get a nice little feel for it. Alright, so that looks pretty cool so far. Nice colors. So now what we're gonna do is make us a new layer, and then we're gonna go to select, actually layer, oh wait, which one was it? It was select, modify and contract, and you can do a bunch of different things with a lot of those options in the menu. I suggest playing around with it. But what we're going to do is add a little definition to it and contract it by about 4 pixels. Hit OK. Now, go back to your gradient tool and select foreground to transparent. And then go back to your default colors. And then we're going to switch those colors to white. And we're going to select our gradient tool once again. And go up just a little bit more, hold down the Shift button and bring it down about halfway, and you get a nice little shine. What I like to do personally is also come down right here at the bottom and come up with it and go about halfway and let it go, and you get an even nicer little shine. And you can go over to back to your tools, and we're going to select the new layer. A lot of new layers, I know. Select the new layer and then go to your ellipse tool and get about halfway, and go ahead and just drag it on out and try to keep it as even as you want it. See how that goes. Don't really like that one too much, so let's take it up just a little bit higher. Get a nice even tone. Alright. Now, once that's done, go ahead and go to your opacity and bring it on down a little. Too well right there. All right, and go ahead and hit overlay. And then after that's done, you go ahead and hit Command D. And then you got a nice shiny little button with a nice little hint to it as well. Okay, now from here what we're gonna do is make our text. Now, any text default, just pick whichever one you want and however you want your button to look. Right here, draw out your text box. There we go with that one. Select your text box. Okay, and we want to add a nice little drop shadow to this text here, and go ahead and you can either double click or command click or control click on PC. We're gonna double click to our layer style. Go ahead and add a drop shadow to our button and select it so we can play around with it just a little to make it fit our needs. Hit 90, hit OK, and that seems to be okay. Let's go back and play around with the distance just a little. All right. Bring our opacity down more. Okay, now it's looking really, really cool. All right, let's go back to layer 1, and we're gonna go back to layer styles, and we're gonna bevel it. Now, you can bevel it either way you want. I think for this particular button, we're gonna go with inner, and you can play around with the depth. See the slight changes in it. And you can play around with the direction. I think I like up better. And you can play with the softness around it and the size. Okay. Now, since it looks like our text is sitting on top of our button a little bit too much, we're gonna bring the layer down right over here, and that makes it seem like it's more inside of the button and adds that little extra glossiness to it. Okay, now also what we can do is change up our color of the button by adding a hue and contrast right above the layer, our rounded rectangle layer. Then go up and add hue saturation, and we're gonna want to link these two together. So hold down Alt or Option and go right in between these, and we're gonna link these two layers together. And from here, what we're gonna do is go right up to our lightness, saturation, and hue, and play around with these until we want to change the color to which one we want. All right, there you got it. And I'm Mr. PSDfile. This has been a easy Photoshop tutorial. Please rate, comment, and subscribe.